We have a question from one of our viewers about whole wheat bread versus white bread. And we're going to talk about the nutritional value and which one we would recommend for patients, for our clients. It really depends on what the purpose is of the question. So let's go into the details of this. I'm Dr. Mazhar Hussain. We're going to talk about whole wheat bread versus white bread. Now, the question was actually not about whole wheat bread. The question was whether brown bread is a scam or not. Brown bread in many countries is what we would call whole wheat bread or whole grain bread. Now, whole wheat bread covers a full range of breads. It can contain more or less whole wheat. If it says 100% whole wheat, well, then it should in most countries actually cover 100% whole wheat. But if it just says whole wheat and in the ingredients list it's not on the first, as it's not mentioned as the first ingredients, in that case you can't trust it to contain a lot of whole wheat. It could be anywhere between 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. The most whole wheat breads would contain between 40 to 60, but it can be less than that. It can also be more than that. So don't get fooled by the label, don't get fooled by the names. You need to read the labels. Now, the names multigrain, whole grain, and other very nice sounding stuff, sounding very healthy, good for you things, may actually be quite harmful for you. For instance, Kellogg's multigrain contains more than 15 teaspoons of sugar, and Weetabix multigrain contains more than 14 teaspoons of sugar. So although they have some very nice sounding names and you might feel that this is what I would want for my kids or for myself, it could be you're actually harming your kids or yourself. So keep that in mind. If you're going to buy whole wheat bread and you want to have whole wheat bread, it should mention 100% whole wheat, or it should be the first ingredient in the ingredients list. As I said, in many countries, brown bread is what covers the term whole wheat or whole grain. Let's look at the numbers. This information is from US Department of Agriculture, so USDA. Let's start with white bread. It contains 49 grams of carbs, 3 grams of dietary fibers. So the net carbs are 46. It contains 9 grams of protein and 3 grams of fat, a total of 266 calories. Innisfree farm whole wheat bread contains 45 grams of carbs, 7 grams of dietary fibers, comes to 38 grams of net carbs. It contains 10 grams of proteins and 7 grams of fat. Totally 258 calories in the bread, in the whole wheat Innisfree farm whole wheat bread. Now, before we move on, we need to define what is then healthy and what is unhealthy. Well, I like to totally reduce the amount of carbs in my food, simply because if you're suffering from any lifestyle related diseases, modern diseases, 70% of chronic diseases are related to our food. Now, if you're suffering from hypertension, if you have heart disease, if you have diabetes, polycystic ovaries, struggling with infertility, if you are having atherosclerosis, if you have a higher risk of strokes, if you have higher risk of cancers, in that case, it's super important you reduce your carbs intake. So, first of all, carbs should be down. Whole wheat bread in this case is definitely better than white bread, but there can be whole wheat bread that is not better. So between these two, I would go for whole wheat bread. And it also has a greater amount of fat, which is actually good for you as long as your carbs are low. But that is the point here, as long as your carbs are low. Now, 38 grams of net carbs is not really low at all. It's really going to spike your insulin. Insulin is going to store your glucose as glycogen, and once the glycogen stores are full, it's going to store excess energy as fat. So 38 grams of net carbs is not really healthy. As compared to white bread, definitely I'd rather go for whole wheat bread as opposed to white bread in this case, in this particular case. But if we talk about health generally speaking, I would say if you can, minimize the use of even whole wheat bread with this kind of contents of carbs. You can make breads at home. You can also buy breads that contains far less carbs, and that would be healthier for you. It's a much better choice, especially if you're suffering from lifestyle related diseases. In that case, you would definitely want to go for other breads with the lower carbs content. So my verdict on this is brown bread, whole wheat bread is better than white bread, but it's not good. It's not good for you if you are overweight, if you have these lifestyle related diseases, if you have hypertension, diabetes, polycystic ovaries, infertility, greater risk of stroke. A lot of these illnesses would actually be worse with carbohydrates. So better stay away from both. If you have to have it, go for whole wheat. Thank you for watching. Do like our videos, subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell, and share this video with your friends and family. Thank you.